Do you think there's a line where a body type becomes unhealthy?
Yeah, like if you're over 300.
What size do you think plus size would start at?
Doesn't it start at like a 14? I don't know.
I mean, if you're overweight, then it's obviously not healthy.
What would you say would be the opposite of plus size?
Like normal.
How would you define normal?
I have no idea.
On its most basic level, body positivity is the idea that all bodies are good bodies. When you think of what TV, magazines, and movies tell us a good body is, which celebrities come to mind?
We're asking people which celebrity they think has a really great body.
I think Jennifer Lawrence has my ideal body.
I definitely think Jennifer Aniston has a good body. She's toned. I don't know, she looks healthy.
Who would you choose?
Jessica Alba.
She has like a healthy body type, in my opinion.
What can we deduce about good bodies based on these women? Good bodies are thin, straight, and most often white. There's nothing wrong with having a body like this, but the body positivity movement strives to create representation for marginalized bodies. We want to see fat bodies, queer bodies, bodies of color, and everything in between up front and center in mainstream media. You might have noticed that a common descriptor for these traditionally accepted body types is healthy. But can you really tell if someone is healthy by looking at them?
I mean, if you're overweight, then it's obviously not healthy because you're lugging a lot of excess weight around. And it's proven not to be healthy. People have died from overweight.
Just because someone is fat or just because someone is thin doesn't necessarily mean that that person is healthy or unhealthy. And even if someone is clinically unhealthy, that doesn't make them any less worthy of self-love.
You can't, like, by just looking at someone, you can't tell their genetic makeup. Like, you don't know their family background, their family history, and like, there's a lot of things that go into health rather than it just being like, are you a size 0 or a size 8?
Even though the body positive movement is for everyone, no matter what type of body you have, many plus-size body positive activists are asking the question, is it okay to call someone fat? Does the term plus size suggest that fat bodies aren't normal?
Do you think plus size has good connotations, bad connotations, or?
I feel like often it has bad connotations. Like people are always like saying bad things about people that are plus size.
I think it's usually considered negative.
What do you think is the opposite of the word plus size?
I guess negative size.
I mean, I guess just not plus sized.
Plus,
Curvaceous Sarah Massey believes she has the world's biggest bum. But unlike many women who worry about their body shape, Sarah's proud to show hers off.
I think it's the biggest butt. It's the biggest as far as it's just big surface and it's big and full and curvy.
The measurement over the widest part of Sarah's buttocks and around her body is an incredible 7 feet.
84.5 inches.
Albert Little, the father of Sarah's children, is enamored with her impressive shape.
I was attracted to her from what I seen at first. A lot of women.
But Sarah's ample posterior causes problems around the house, and also when she goes out.
The difficulties that I go through as being a big booty diva is walking, going in the car.
All that ass, you can't even buckle up your seatbelt.
It leads to Sarah receiving a lot of attention, which can be upsetting to her sons, Christian, 14, and Aaron, 7.
They laugh a lot. They'll call her Big Booty Judy or something like that. They'll say like she puts the tires flat every time she sits in the car.
I think my mom got the biggest booty.
But Sarah is undaunted and even exercises publicly in the park with her personal trainer.
And overhead, pull down. Warming up those arms, those legs also. Yeah. Hands on the chest. Give me some kickback.
Despite her attempts to stay in shape, Sarah struggles to maintain a healthy diet.
I know how to eat well. It's just that my portion control is my issue.
Sarah loves shopping for clothes, but finding items the right size can be tricky.
On clothing, because of my size, everything is roughly like $50 per item. So a month I probably spend almost $500 on clothes.
But now, Sarah is turning her unique shape into an asset by posting pictures of herself online in glamorous underwear for fans of big bottoms.
Love you. Shows my big old booty. See? Look at the bouncing booty. So that's what my fans love. They love the big booty. A lot of fans love. They was like, oh, for her to be big, she's a beautiful girl. And I was like, thank you. I know I'm too big, but I'm sharing it with the rest of the world, letting you know that I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Sarah's family would prefer her to lose a bit of weight, but without losing any of her shapeliness or her bubbly character.
I like to see her slimmer. I like to see her lose a little weight. Sometimes I don't really think she'd be the same person with a thin body.
Cute, very sexy.
That's nice.
Sexy as she know it. I would like to make it smaller because it wouldn't be so heavy. It causes back problems. All this butt, you would think that it wouldn't cause so much pain. Even like if I'm sitting down in a chair, it's painful, even though I have a lot of cushion.
We want it to calm down a little bit. We want it to be a little bit less, but we want it to still be, you know, kind of jiggly there.
Australia's obesity epidemic is about to get worse.
The country's battle of the bulge. More than 60% of Aussies are obese.
Australia will be in the grip of an obesity epidemic.
We are still putting on weight.
Hi, my name's Kath Reid. I'm a fat activist in Brisbane. I blog at Fat Heifer Lump, where I've been blogging for about 5 years. And it's my goal to change the way people think about fatness. I always thought I was fat. One of my earliest memories, I was called fat. I've always been called fat. And I believed that the worst thing a person could possibly be was fat. Through my teens and 20s and early 30s, I just battled it in every single way I could. You name the diet, I was on it. You name the weight loss plan, I was on it. I believed that I couldn't do anything in life that was good until I was thin. I couldn't have any form of success, couldn't have a good job, couldn't have a loving relationship, couldn't be happy in any way. So I didn't try. I haven't always been fat. I was actually a regular sized little girl, and when I was 17 I was actually diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Since then, taking insulin and treating my diabetes regularly, I slowly became fatter and fatter. When I began to gain weight, I was a little worried, my mother was a little worried, but as time went on, I became okay with being fat. Fat acceptance is the radical notion that fat people are human beings and deserve respect. I discovered fat acceptance probably about 6 years ago. I think it was on Twitter that somebody must have retweeted an article. And as per anything on the internet, you read one and the vortex gets you, and you read the next thing and the next thing. It was kind of like a light bulb went on, and that was when I started to think that perhaps it could apply to me.
I'm Jessica Simpson. I lost over 50 pounds on Weight Watchers.
I'm gonna lose 15 kilos. And you know what? If you're sitting out there wanting to lose weight too, then come and join me.
We're changing the shape of one of Australia's most obese towns.
There seems to be a cultural obsession here, whether you're in Australia or the United States, with a thin body. Health at Every Size is a movement that is basically just encouraging people to adopt good health behaviors and to forget about weight as a goal or weight change as a goal, and instead just embrace the bodies that we're living in and make good health choices to support them.
I'm Sarah Harry and I specialise in body image, and I also teach curvy yoga.
Fantastic.
When I tell people that I'm a yoga teacher, I usually get an interesting reaction. Sometimes people think that I'm joking, which is funny and a bit awkward, because I think they expect a yoga teacher to be a certain way, very small and lithe and flexible. And I'm very flexible, but I'm not small or lithe.
On the next inhale, come up, bring your hands to your heart.
I think the problem with aligning exercise and weight loss is that then we put a whole lot of pressure on the only benefit for exercise is a way to lose weight, whereas the benefits of exercise are so enormous. So I think we're doing exercise a great disservice in only making it about weight loss.
Tell me if I've got too much cleavage.
Oh, it looks great.
There are many reasons for why someone might be living in a fat body. For some people, that's just genetics, and they're leading very healthy lifestyles, eating good quantities that are appropriate to nourish their bodies. And to try to judge somebody by their weight will give you a lot of misinformation.
One of the main things that I find is that I'm under constant surveillance. You can't go anywhere without being watched by people. That happened before I dyed my hair pink. It happened before I chose to wear bright colours. I used to be what I referred to as a brown sparrow. I would wear dark colours, not wear anything that was visible. It was before I had tattoos, and people would kind of, even then, still sort of make a comment about the fatty, you know.
People judge me for my weight all the time. I go out in public, people will give my husband and I looks. We take up a lot of space when we walk down the road holding hands on a footpath. I remember when we were trying to jog once, they were cheering us on like we were in a marathon, and you could tell it was quite sarcastic.
I'm here today to talk to you about a very powerful little word, one that people will do almost anything to avoid becoming. Billion-dollar industries thrive because of the fear of it. And those of us who undeniably are it are left to navigate a relentless storm surrounding it. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed, but I'm fat. Not the lowercase muttered behind my back kind, or the seemingly harmless chubby or cuddly. I'm not even the more sophisticated voluptuous or curvaceous kind. Let's not sugarcoat it. I am the capital F-A-T kind of fat. I am the elephant in the room. When I walked out on stage, some of you may have been thinking, oh, this is going to be hilarious, because everybody knows that fat people are funny. Or you may have been thinking, where does she get her confidence from? Because a confident fat woman is almost unthinkable. The fashion-conscious members of the audience may have been thinking how fabulous I look in this Beth Ditto dress. Thank you very much. Where some of you might have thought, oh, black would have been so much more slimming. You may have wondered, consciously or not, if I have diabetes, or a partner, or if I eat carbs after 7 p.m. You may have worried that you ate carbs after 7 p.m. last night and that you really should renew your gym membership. These judgments are insidious. They can be directed at individuals and groups, and they can also be directed at ourselves. And this way of thinking is known as fat phobia. Like any form of systematic oppression, fat phobia is deeply rooted in complex structures like capitalism, patriarchy, and racism. And that can make it really difficult to see, let alone challenge.
I have been told that it's a perfect belly.
They say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Wakey wakey, eggs and bacon.
But housewife Gayla Neufeld has managed to do the opposite by using her 8-foot Titanic tummy to find love.
She already had a big belly, and that was just a bonus on top of all her other beauty.
And her portly paunch has led to a successful online modelling career.
The softest belly this side of the Mississippi.
When I was younger, I wasn't proud to be fat, but I didn't know that you shouldn't be fat. I mean, I was fat, my mom was fat, and my favorite sister was fat. As I grew up, going to school was the hardest thing. My family didn't bully me so much as did the kids at school. I would walk by and they would do boom, 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 boom with every step I took. Or, you know, fatty, 2x4 couldn't get through the bathroom door.
Despite getting stick for her size, Gayla managed to turn her curves into a career.
I have been modeling for 3 years, an SSBBW model. And basically what SSBBW means is BBW is a big, beautiful woman. An SSBBW is kind of like a Happy Meal or a value meal at McDonald's or whatever. You supersize it. And so that's what I am. I'm a supersized, big, beautiful woman. They're usually over 400 pounds. I actually have a great following of men who really like my belly. I have had doctors, lawyers, bodybuilders, which really amazed me because lots of bodybuilders. I've had just all over, men from all over the world. That's what made me actually fall in love with who I truly was. And it was life-changing for me.
Despite having her pick of the fans, it was truck driver Lance Neufeld who captured her heart. They met on the internet in 1999 and soon went on their first date.
First time I ever saw her is when I drove into the truck stop and parked, and she came to pick me up in Odessa to take me out for supper. And she knocked me over with all her beauty.
When I pulled up, I was like, oh my God, he is so cute. So cute. And he got in the car and he said, your pictures online do you no justice. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And I just blushed.
Although it's a big plus for Lance, Gayla admits that her 96-inch waist brings its fair share of problems.
Having a big belly, it makes it really hard to find clothes that fit. It makes it harder to drive. My steering wheel is embedded in my belly to some extent. I have to have seatbelt extenders for my vehicles. My knees haven't met in years. They're complete strangers. There are trials and tribulations that come with it. So I consider it my handicap. I do have arthritis of the knees. I've taken many falls over the years.
But there's one place Gayla's immense size isn't causing problems: the bedroom.
No, not really. The only thing we miss is she would used to do it on top, and she can't do that anymore. That's about the only thing in our sex life that has been different. Most of the other stuff is just as good as ever.
Despite the problems, Gayla has finally been able to embrace her waist.
I allowed the world to dictate to me what I was supposed to look like and who I was supposed to be. And by taking a body positive image, I've empowered myself to be who I am and to enjoy my life. If you can't love your body for who and what you are, then you can't expect anybody else to love your body for who and what you are.